Hello, for those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Sam, and as I'm recording this, I'm 29 weeks pregnant. I'm a pregnancy yoga teacher and a regular yoga teacher, and I thought it'd be nice to share a nice little pregnancy yoga practice with you today, if you wanted to join in. Now, recommended for 14 weeks and above. Um, if you are joining me and you are pregnant, hopefully, then obviously have a lovely practice with me. Don't do anything that doesn't feel quite right for you. Feel free to use as many props as you need, and feel free to get as comfortable as you like. I'm not going to do anything too complicated today, but just go with speed that feels right for you. If you start to feel out of breath, feel free to take a break at any point. We're not going to be kind of going at a speed of light. We're going to be looking at nice breathing techniques that we can do to help us with our pregnancy and into labor. And as I'm 29 weeks, at the moment, the baby's laying transverse. Absolutely perfectly normal at this time because baby can be doing somersaults, but we are going to have a little look at how we can get into the optimal fetal positioning throughout as well. So if you're on the same boat as me, feel free to join in. We'll try and get some of those techniques to get that baby moving a little bit more of a optimum position ready for birth as well. So I'm sure I'll be doing lots of these coming up in the next few weeks. So get nice and comfortable, and hopefully you enjoy the practice. So we're going to start by finding a nice comfortable sitting position. For me, that's always cross-legged. It doesn't have to be for you. If this feels desperately uncomfortable or you have any pelvic girdle pain at all, please feel free to move. If you do have any pelvic girdle pain, feel free to shoot your legs out in front of you instead and sit like this. If none of those feel comfortable, feel free to grab a block. If you don't have a block, grab a cushion and just sit on the very edge of that as well. That little bit of height can help us feel nice and comfortable. And if you are going to sit cross-legged like myself, then I'm going to give us a little prompt just to make sure we cross our legs the other way as well, so we stay nice and even through the hips. And we're just going to start by working on that breath first. So join me in rolling those shoulders open. Say hello to baby. Bringing both palms facing up, thumbs together, and just bring them at the base of the spine. Chest is nice and open, crown of the head going towards the sky. And let's start by just checking in on that breath. Allow that inhale to help the tummy rise. And that exhale, having that belly button falling back towards the spine. And as we breathe, you want to focus on breathing that exhale down through the base of the spine. Take a moment to check in with your breathing, noticing how it feels for you and baby today. Allowing the shoulders to melt a little bit further away from the ears on the exhale. Just as that breath passes us down, going towards the base. And we're going to take 2 more breaths here. It's really important that we start to understand or feel the natural rhythm of the breath. So if our breathing speeds up at any point, we know exactly what our natural breath feels like, so we know that point to bring it back to. And that's not just for pregnancy, that's just for every day. Although our breathing does change slightly when we're pregnant. I know my breath has got a little bit shorter, so lengthening it out helps. Good. And when you're ready, keep one hand on baby and bring one hand to the heart center. I'm going to keep those eyes closed. Keep the shoulders low. Just for a moment, focus on those 2 heartbeats beneath the palms. Breathing down to your baby and receiving that breath back. The same way that we breathe our love down to our baby and we receive that love back. Nice, long, deep breath. Feeling that lower hand move with the breath. That inhale pushes away at the fingers. The exhale gently pulling back in towards the baby. One more breath here. And as we exhale, gently releasing those hands down. If you are sat like me, feel free to switch those legs over the opposite way just to keep us nice and level for the hips. Bring the left hand onto baby, turn the right palm out. We're going to inhale, bring that arm up. Exhale, take it over. Now as we come into side stretch, keep that elbow pulling back, shoulders nice and low. Take the gaze up when you've gone as far as you're going to go. We're just going to take 2 big breaths here. Again, feeling that breath move under that left hand. And exhale, gently bringing that hand down. Right hand goes to baby. Turn the left palm out. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, take it over. Again, pulling that elbow back. Shoulders nice and low, nice and open through the chest. 2 breaths. And on an exhale, gently bring that back down. Bring those hands onto the knees. We'll do a couple of hip circles here. So as we do our hip circles, whether you're on a block or not, we're trying to just focus on circling those hips round slightly. So it's that movement more in the pelvis, where we kind of come to the backs of our seat bones and then roll them forward. And you can make them as big or as small as feels good for you. I know it feels a little bit weird. We kind of just start rolling around. If any of you have the balls, as you can see behind me, I'm sure you're used to this. Going the other way when you feel ready. Again, just rolling those hips. Good, and we're going to bring it up slightly. So coming back to the center, hands stay on those knees. We're going to roll into those shoulders a little bit more. So lead with one shoulder to start with. Let those elbows get involved, really moving through that upper spine. If you've been led on your side a lot as well at night, you can start to feel a little bit stiff for those shoulders, through that back. So this is really going to help just loosen everything up. Good, going the other way when you feel ready. Keeping note of that nice, long, open breath as you go. Good, and come back to the center. Hands are going to go behind you, fingers facing forward. Take a nice deep breath in and push that chest up. Just opening through the heart slightly, bringing those shoulder blades together. Nice deep breath. And exhale, releasing. Good. We're going to come onto all fours next. So take your hands to the side, unravel those legs if you had them crossed, bring them to the other side and coming up like so. Now our knees can get a little bit more sensitive when we are pregnant in terms of we've got a little bit of extra weight there. Feel free to roll a towel or a blanket underneath those knees if you need a little bit more support there, okay? Equally, feel free to grab a drink whenever you need one. We need to stay nice and hydrated as well. Okay, so we're going to try and get the maximum space in the pelvis here. So coming down onto those elbows. Knees can be hip distance apart, particularly if you've got any PGP. If you have got a little bit of lower back pain, then feel free to take them a little bit wider, okay? I'm going probably just about my hips, maybe a tiny bit more. Now, we're just going to rock slightly from here. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Also, a very good birthing position, should you need one. So that obviously each position works for people differently, but a good one to try if you need to. Now we're going to take one more breath going forward. We're going to exhale, bring that bottom back towards the heels a little bit. Holding here for a breath or two. On the next inhale, coming upwards. Let's open through the chest, staying on those elbows. We'll start with the left hand. Let's inhale, bring that up. Stretching through that upper back. Exhale, bringing it down. Breath in between. Let's reestablish. Exhaling back, inhaling forward. Two more. The last one. Good. Inhale, other arm up. And exhaling down. Walk those hands back up. Shake out the arms if you need to. I'm just going to pop off my jumper. Good. So let's carry on with working those shoulder blades a little bit and doing a really nice shoulder stretch. We're coming into a half puppy dog. Knees can be underneath hips, again, slightly wider if you need them to. We're going to take our right hand towards the top of the mat. Left hand is going to be under the face, palm down. We're going to bring our forehead onto the back of the wrist or the palm, and we're going to stretch our right hand forward. So take some really lovely deep breaths here. And as we exhale, focus on melting that chest down towards the ground. Nice, long breath. Work on lengthening the exhale slightly here. One more. And on the next exhale, lift that head, look up, slide that right hand back, come up onto all fours, switching them over. Right hand goes in front of the face, palm down. Left hand towards the top of the mat. Again, on an exhale, dropping that right elbow down towards the ground, placing the forehead on the wrist or the back of the hand. And as we breathe, using that exhale to melt that heart down towards the floor. Left arm stay stretched out in front. Let's take one more breath here. And on the exhale, we'll lift the head, look up, slide that left hand back. Again, come all the way up, have a little wiggle, have a little shake if you need to. We're going to come into some sweeping cats. Now, for our sweeping cats, working up into the arm strength. And from here, we'll go into a circling cat-cow. So you may have done cat-cows before. What we look for when we're pregnant in our cat-cows is making that big roundness of the back more than that little duck, if that makes sense. So it's less about stretching the tummy, more about stretching the back. And we can come on to that when we come into it together. To come into our sweeping cats, we're going to come down to our elbows again, and we're going to picture that we're pushing an imaginary ball along the floor of our nose. So coming into a tabletop just to start with, bring the elbows down to the ground. And your elbows are pretty much under your shoulders or just a tiny bit forward, whatever feels good for you. Take a breath in between. So we're going to start with the inhale here. Good. So on the inhale, push an imaginary ball along the floor with your nose gently coming up into those hands. As we exhale, bottom goes back towards the heels. Inhale, we push up and forward into the hands. So the exhale brings the bottom down and the elbows to the ground. That inhale is pushing up into those arms, building a nice bit of upper arm strength, but also allowing us to really engage with that rhythm of the breath, allowing us to work into those hips. And find that movement with the breath. Good, let's do one more here. And when we get back up into those hands, we're going to come onto all fours, bringing those arms back in line with the shoulders. Knees in line with the hips or a little bit wider if you have any lower back pain. Let's start with normal cat-cows and then we're going to take it to circling. So as we inhale, this is where normally we drop our pelvis right towards the ground and stretch it up. They feel quite uncomfortable when you're pregnant. So we're looking for less of that arch, more of the rounding. Think about that inhale more as lengthening at this stage, letting those shoulders really pull away from the ears so we feel the openness in the chest. As we exhale, start with a pelvic floor here. So pelvic floor engages, hugging the baby in towards the spine, rounding that back and looking towards the feet. As we inhale, pelvic floor releases. Tummy releases, again, feeling that openness through the chest. So go with your own breath length here. The pelvic floor should start and trigger that movement. Go with your own flow of breath. Good, let's do one more here. Taking the hands forward by one hand space. Now, we're going to come into circles, but before we do that, I want us to look at a little bit of noise as well. Baby can start to hear sounds for about 24 to 26 weeks. The baby should be able to hear us now in the vibration. And I know sound can be embarrassing, okay? None of us like making weird sounds or feeling like we're kind of cultish, but sound is so important in labor. And the looser our jaw is, then obviously it helps us open up through the rest of the sphincters as well. So very important that we kind of focus on that. And that's what we're going to do, because that sound we're going to add to the exhale is going to help us lengthen through that breath too. So this time as we inhale, we're just going to bring ourselves forward, opening through that chest. As we exhale this time, we're going to get our bottom going back towards the heels and we're going to hum. Inhaling up. Exhale, we round that spine, we hum. Go with your own flow breath. Doesn't matter if your hum's longer than mine or shorter. Last one. Good. Circling up, allowing those hips to make really nice big circles this time. Nice and as round as you can, almost like you've got a paintbrush attached to your bottom. You're trying to draw a nice big circle on the sky, going the other way when you're ready. Good. This is where we can add a couple of cat-cow-like movements into this as well. So go back to that first side, that inhale, that openness through the chest, that exhale as we round the back, coming back towards the bottom. Inhaling up. exhaling round. So good for getting into any little lower back discomforts as well. Other way when you're ready, rounding that back, bring that bottom towards the heels. That inhale, rolling through the chest. Last one. Coming back to the center. Bring those arms back. Have a little shake out. Put my glasses back on. Interlace those hands behind you. Just have a little wiggle. Feels really nice bringing those shoulder blades together. Good. And then we're going to come the other way. Hug the imaginary tree. Round those shoulder blades, looking down towards the pelvis. Have a little rock here too. Good. Shake out the hands. So we want to bring in a little bit of stability for that area as well. So coming back onto all fours again, I know, don't forget, you can use something to go under your knees if you need to. Nice little rolled up blanket or towel does that job perfectly. What we're going to do is take a nice deep breath. Use that exhale just to hug baby in a little bit. On the next inhale, lift that right leg up. Now you have an option here. You can keep those toes touching. That's going to help with a little bit of hip stability if you need it, because we want to make sure they stay nice and level. And we don't want to put any strain on that abdominal. We just want to try and work with that balance and strengthen. However, if it feels good, you can lift those toes up gently. It's not about height here. Hips staying level is the most important thing. Whichever way you're at, with your toes touching or your foot gently lifted, just take a breath here. And we'll bring it back on an exhale. Good. Coming onto the other side, again, use that exhale just to hug baby in a little bit, let the shoulders come away from the ears. The inhale sees the left leg lift. Again, hips nice and level. It means you can have the toes touching if you need to, or if you feel shaky at all in any way. Not about the distance here. And as we exhale, bring that knee back in. We're going to come into our down dog. Take your hands slightly forward of the shoulders. Now, if this feels too much for you coming into down dog, you can do a puppy pose instead. The puppy pose just has both hands at the front, bringing that chest towards the ground. Use this as an alternative if the down dog feels a little bit too much for your arms, particularly as we're carrying a little bit of extra weight here. Tuck the toes on if you're joining me for full down dog. On the exhale, push that bottom back and up. Now keep your knees bent. You want to focus on getting that long spine. So let those shoulders come away from the ears, nice long arms. And when you feel ready, gently cycle those legs. It feels so nice to really get into those hamstrings. If you've been getting any cramp at night, anything like that. I know I keep getting a little bit of my foot and leg every so often. It's been hanging out the bed when it's been too hot for me. This is going to help. Just listen to those muscles. Hopefully keep us away from varicose veins or too much swelling. I'm not a doctor, I can't guarantee that, but we do every little thing we can to try and help out, right, when we're pregnant. When you're ready, find an element of stillness. Just take a breath there. And on the exhale, bend at the knees, walk those hands back, just pad them backwards to come into a forward fold. Now take your legs a little bit wider. We need a bit more room for baby here, right? Grab hold of those elbows, keep the head low. Just have a gentle sway. That's going to help us stretch for this back of the legs. Nice deep breaths. I'm going to encourage you to take a few breaths here to breathe out through the mouth. Nice big open mouth. So inhaling from the nose. We're exhaling from an O-shaped mouth. One more. Good. Now let's find that length in the spine. Inhale, hands to the shins. Roll those shoulders down the spine. Crown our head towards one end of the room. bottom towards the other. Find the length in the back. Let's take 2 big, beautiful breaths here. One more. Good, now we're going to go to full standing. If you have low blood pressure, keep that head nice and low, okay? Inhaling, arms all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands to the chest. Take a breath here, let those thumbs come into the heart center. Shoulders releasing with that exhale. Good, release those hands. Take a drink if you need to, before we come and do some standing work. So as we get fuller and fuller a baby, some of you doing this may be way more fuller baby than me at 29 weeks. You want to find space. We want to find space anywhere that's left. So side stretching can be really helpful for that. And we're going to do a little bit of that, rocking and working into what feels good. So take your legs a little bit wider than hip distance. We've got to bring that left hand onto baby to start with again. Inhale, turn out the right palm. Let's inhale, bring that arm up and over. Now I'm coming onto the tiptoes on my right foot, taking that gaze up towards the sky. If it makes you feel a little bit unsteady, feel free to have that foot fully in the floor. I quite like to stretch into the tiptoes so the full body gets that stretch. Breathe into that space you've created in the right side. One more breath. Exhaling, coming down. Let the right hand go to baby. Turn the left palm out. Let's inhale, bring it up. Taking it over. Shoulders low, elbows pulling back. 2 breaths into the side of the lungs here. And exhaling down. Rocking with it. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more each side. Go with your own breath length here. Hands go to baby. Deep breath in, rolling shoulders back. Exhale, releasing the shoulders, hand belly down. Good. We're going to move a little to use a little bit of wall here. If you don't have a bit of wall, it's fine. We can use things like the birthing ball, whatever is available. But otherwise, find a tiny little bit of wall. We're going to use that support. It's really handy to have when you're coming into early signs of labor. So let me just have a little drink. And then I'm going to use the big doors here. So first thing we're going to do is take the right leg forward. We're getting that foot going towards the wall. Now we're going to have a bend in that knee. As I bend in that knee, I want to make sure that my knee isn't going to go over my ankle. So if I'm planning on rocking, I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to take that left leg back a little bit to make sure that when I rock forward, I've still got a nice alignment with my knee coming over the ankle. I'm going to bring my right hand to the wall. And I'm going to place my forehead again on the back of the wrist. I'm going to let that left hand go up along the wall. So forehead is on the back of the right wrist. Right foot is forward with a bend in the knee. Back leg is strong. And I've got that left arm creeping up the wall. Take a few breaths here. It's a beautiful shoulder stretch. Last breath here. Good. On the exhale, slide that left hand down. Bring the palms into the wall. Try not to think about the fact you got to clean the glass afterwards. I always do this. My partner goes mad at me. Shoulders nice and low, just pushing into that front hip. Nice and gently. Back toes can be facing forward and heel can be lifted if you need to release a little bit of tension in that back leg. Good. Holding here. On the exhale, jump the back foot forward. Let those left toes come to the wall. Take the right leg back. Foot's going to stay planted into the floor for now, but again, if it feels too much straight off the get-go, lift the heel up and toes facing forward. Coming onto the other side, so bring that left hand to the wall. Again, bringing that forehead to the wrist or the back of the hand, stretching that right hand up along the wall to get that lovely shoulder stretch. A few breaths here. Go for one more breath here. And on the exhale, slide those hands down. Palms go into the wall. Gently pulsing. Again, remember, here's the option. Come up onto the toes here. And when you're ready, just holding into that. Shoulders coming down the back. Nice and tall for the spine if you can. And exhale, jump that leg forward. Carrying on with the wall here. We want to have a nice right angle, so it's almost going to be like a standing down dog here. So place your palms into the wall. Walk them down as you step back. So you're trying to get a nice right angle here, where you're going to be looking towards the floor, your head in between your hands, you've got your legs about hip distance apart, just enough so we can find that length in the spine. It is an intense shoulder stretch, okay, but it is also a really lovely one for releasing any weight off the spine. So right now, baby is nice and happy and comfortable in there. You've got no weight on the spine at all. That's quite a magical thing. So we're just going to take a few breaths here. Good. Now on the next exhale, bring that right foot forward slightly. Have a little jiggle. Give me your best Beyonce butt, okay? I would start singing to you if we're in class now, so you're very lucky that you're, just online. If you don't think you're ready for this jelly, brings to mind the switching over the legs when you're ready. Just a little wiggle. And then look forward. Gently walk those hands up. Again, interlace behind, have a little wriggle if you need to. Just release anything. Bring it back to the wall. Legs wider than hip distance. My bum is resting on the wall. You're going to creep those feet forward. Actually, you should be facing me and bring that mat towards you for a little bit of stability. So we're just going to put that spine up against the wall, head up against the wall. Again, taking some weight off. We are working into those legs. Check you still see your toes, so you know your knees are coming over your ankle. Take 2 or 3 breaths here. Again, I'm going to encourage you to breathe out from the mouth here. So inhale through the nose. Last one. Good. Walking those hands back up nice and safely, walking those legs back up, coming back into the center. Have a drink. Okay. Particularly in your first trimester out, it feels like you're never going to quench that thirst ever. So we're going to take the legs wider. We're going to come into a flowing goddess pose from here. So legs are as far as feels good. We're going to turn the toes out. The reason we turn the toes out is because then we can bend at the knees nice and happily, and we know the knee isn't going to come over the ankle. We do want to get a bit of support system here. So we're going to switch on those glutes, okay? So get those bottoms engaged and hug baby in for a bit of support here as well. Because as we exhale, we want to sink into the posture. We want to feel like this bit feels nice and secure, okay, from all angles. Let's start by just placing hands on baby. You can have a little jig. You don't have to stay still if it feels uncomfortable. Baby likes movement. This is us often rocking baby to sleep. When it's like 4 a.m. and you're fast asleep and nice and still, that's when baby likes to move and be nice and active. This is us just showing baby nice and comfortable, nice and safe in there, having a little rock. Okay, and then we're going to flow a little bit with those arms. So let's just start by inhaling, bringing the arms up, stretch through the legs, exhaling down. Go with that and slow breath, 2 more. Good. Let's inhale, right arm over, exhale it back. Start to move the legs as well, straightening the other leg as we're pulling. So we're inhaling wide, exhale back. One more each side. Good, come back to the center, let's have a little rock. Hands go back to baby. Doesn't matter how big or small your bump is, baby's still in there. Nice little jig, little baby jig. Good, one more breath. And exhale, come back to the center, hands on those knees. Bring yourself slightly forward. Try to get the chest open, shoulders nice and low. We're just going to have a couple of ducks into the shoulder from here. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, bringing that left shoulder in. Take an inhale. Exhale, other side. Full breath there. Good, other side. And last one. Good, coming back to the center. Inhale, arms widen up, straighten through the legs. Exhale, bring them down, heel to toe those feet in. Have a little shake out the legs, have a shake out of the arms. We're going to come to the back of the mat because we're going to make our way back down. So when you're ready, we're going to do this by a forward fold. Let's get our mountain posture sorted first. So legs wherever they feel comfortable, okay? It doesn't have to be directly under your hips. Have a rock on those feet. Chest is rolled open, baby nice and hugged in, hands down by the sides, nice strong fingers. Take a breath here first. Good, let's inhale those arms up. Exhale, we're going to reach forward, but we're going to bend our knees as we do. Deep breath here. Exhale, full fold, bending at those knees, just walk those hands forward, coming down onto all fours. Now we're going to come back into pose of a child. Can feel a little bit constricting when you're doing this as the bump gets bigger. Feel free to use a cushion or a block and place it under your head. If not, it doesn't matter if you don't have it available, but it can just feel a little bit nicer if you do. Knees are going to be nice and wide. We're going to push our bottom back onto our heels. Rest that forehead on the block and stretch those hands forward. Again, when I say block, that can be block or cushion, or you don't have to have anything at all. Just whatever feels good. But what we're doing is making space for baby to be chilling out and keeping us nice and comfortable at the same time. So we're going to take 2 or 3 breaths here. Good, take one more nice big deep breath here. And on the exhale, lift that head, look up. Gently rocking forward onto all fours. Again, feel free to put something underneath your knees. If you have your block, just pop it to one side for the moment. We're going to do a couple of wag the tails. Now, wag the tails, smiley hips, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. We're going to take our hips over to one side, look over the shoulder towards your bottom, and taking it all the way over to the other side. So as you see, wagging your tail, or some people call it smiley hips because it's kind of like you're doing a big smile with your bum. Good. Now, there's no right or wrong way to move with it. Be aware of the breath, but move as fast or as slow as feels good. If it feels extra nice to do it nice and kind of quick, so you loosen into that spine and do it. If you find a really good juicy bit and you want to hold it a bit longer, also totally fine. Good. And come back to the center. Coming into our thread the needle, we're going to take our knees nice and wide. Big toes are going to be touching. We're going to float the needle and then hold. We're going to start with the right hand. So as we inhale, take that hand up into the sky, look towards the thumb. As we exhale, bring it down towards the ground. Inhaling up, we're going to do 2 more flows and we'll hold in that third exhale. Again, going with your own breath. Allow that tummy to move with each breath. Good. Holding on that third exhale. Now, if you haven't done this before, it does feel weird, okay? I get that. We don't put weight on our shoulder very often. Feel free to hold it here, equally putting a pillow, blanket, anything like that underneath your shoulder is fine. We're not going to hold it here too long, but if you have been practicing this and it does feel good, this is where you release the left arm up into the sky. Letting those fingers go out of line of sight, helping with that openness for the chest. And exhale, bring that hand down, push into the left palm, gently unwinding back into the center. Take 2 breaths, reground, restabilize back in the middle. Good. Coming onto the other side, we're going to inhale, take that left hand to the sky. Exhale, threading it under. 3 of those as we did in the last time. Holding on that third exhale. This is number 2. Inhaling up, and we exhale, thread. And on that third exhale, we take a moment to feel nice and grounded, allowing that exhale to help sink us down into the ground. Again, feeling free to stay here or feeling free to come out if it doesn't feel right. Or if it feels weird and it's the first time you've done it. Otherwise, releasing that right arm up into the sky, letting those fingers go out of line of sight just for 2 breaths. And we release it down our exhale, pushing into that right palm to help us unthread and come back into the center. Reestablishing those knees back in line with the hips if it feels comfortable to do so. Stretching through that chest again. So hands down by the sides. Inhale, just pushing those shoulder blades together, opening through the chest, deep breath. Make a noise on that exhale. Doesn't have to be much of a noise. Just hear the breath. Good. Gently releasing. We're going to come into a kneeling posture. So again, feel free to put something underneath your knees, a blanket, towel, anything like that. We're going to come into it nice and gently, and we're going to come into it all together. It's going to be our kneeling warrior. From here, we're going to have the option to carry on those beautiful side stretches, finding some space. So take your hands down to the side. I've got mine slightly to the left, so I can take my right out. That's just so we can nice and safely come up without any pressure. Hands on those hips because we want them to stay nice and level throughout. And we're going to take an exhale and push into that front hip. Make sure you can still see your toes so your knee isn't coming over your ankle. Shoulders nice and low. Baby is nice and tucked in. We're going to take an inhale, bring those arms up. As we exhale, soften through those shoulders. Good. Now we're going to flow with the breath a little bit here. So as we exhale, palms come together, bring them down to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. 2 more, go in that flow breath. That inhale, reaching for those fingertips. That exhale, bringing it back to us. Good. Let the hands slide down the tummy onto baby, holding for breath. Feeling that breath move beneath the fingers, that inhale pushing into the fingers, the exhale coming back to baby. Left hand stays, right hand turns out. Let's inhale, bring right arm up. Exhale, bring it over. And exhale, release. Walk the right foot off to the side, coming off the mat if it feels good. Hands are going to go forward. We want to keep some of that length in the spine. The main thing we want to do here is work into that hip. So we're gently just pushing forward, foot out to the side, as wide as feels comfortable. No perfect science of how far, but just so we can work into that hip and release any tension there. You might even get a few clicks if you're lucky. Good. Push forward into the hands, slide that leg back if that works for you. If not, just find a comfortable position to come all the way back up to high kneeling. When you're ready, you can bring your hands down to the right hand side to bring that left leg forward. Hands on those hips again. Shoulders nice and low, chest is open, baby's hugged in, pushing into that front hip, checking we can still see the toes. When we're comfortable here, we inhale, bring those arms up. Let the fingers face in towards each other, shoulders nice and low. Focus on breathing that exhale down through the base of the spine again. Nice deep breath, that exhale coming down through the body. Ready to flow with the breath. On the next exhale, palms come together, bring them down to the heart center. 3 flowing breaths again. That inhale going wide and up. The exhale coming down. Rolling the hands down to baby. Holding for a nice long breath. Good. Now keeping that right hand on baby, left hand goes up on the air in the inhale. Exhale, bring it over. Exhale, bring that hand down. Left leg goes all the way out to the side. Hands come on the inside of that foot, gently pushing forward. Again, we're making sure the knees aren't coming over the ankle. You can really take that leg wherever feels good. All we're trying to do is open into that hip and work with baby. Get a nice comfortable position. Tiki's got like a little elbow or something, in a place that doesn't feel so good for you. Baby will be in the right position for baby. We're just trying to encourage a little bit more comfort along the way. Slide that leg back when you're ready. And again, roll into the back of the heels. Have a little flex. Exhaling. Inhaling. Now, start on the back of the heels. Feels okay for me. If it doesn't for you, you sit on your bottom, but we're not going to be here too long. Last one. Good. Gently unwinding, coming back to the center. Hands going forward, legs over to the side. We're coming onto our bottom. So we want to kind of really open up through the chest and shoulders. If you've been sleeping on your side for a little while, I know that we're trying to, lots of us might be trying to not sleep on our back as much as maybe we used to. It can feel a bit uncomfortable on the shoulders. So trying to work through the shoulders where we also hold a lot of tension is really important, okay? So we're going to do a bit of cow face pose. We're not going to do the legs today. We're just going to do the arms. If it feels uncomfortable for you, grab a strap or something like that. Your hands don't have to meet here. Equally, if the way I'm sat is totally uncomfortable for you, couldn't care less where your legs are. Sit however feels good for you right now, because what we're focusing on is the shoulders and the arms. We want you to feel comfortable and we want you to get a nice tall spine. So however you get those is however you sit today. Cow face pose. We're going to start by taking the right hand behind us, palm facing up. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, palm facing down to meet the other hand. So we're opening through that chest. I'll just show you what my hands look like from behind. If yours don't look the same and there's somewhere here, it doesn't matter, it makes no difference. What we're trying to do is open up through that chest and get a lovely stretch through the shoulders. So it doesn't matter how far you go, it just matters that you feel like you're pulling those elbows back and we have a nice open chest. Take a deep breath here. And out. Good. On the next exhale, we're going to release those hands. Good. We're going to come onto the other way. Feel free to switch over your legs if you are sat like me, and that feels good for you to do so. Left hand goes behind you, palm facing up. Let's inhale, right arm up. Exhale, bring it palm down to find those fingers. Pull those shoulders. Make sure those shoulders go low. Pull those elbows back. Good, one more breath. Exhale, release. Shake out the arms, have a little wiggle. We're going to come into a wider leg pose. Again, we're going to have the option of adding a little bit of side stretch in if it doesn't feel right for you. Just come in and work with the legs. We don't have to do the side stretch if it doesn't feel good for you today. We're going to start by taking that right leg out to the side. So right leg is out, left foot is coming into that thigh. Now, if you feel like you're crouping over or drifting off to the side for the hips, put a block underneath your bottom or a towel or a blanket, whatever feels good to give you that height. We want to feel like the toes are nice and engaged and your back is nice and long. Hand, left hand goes to baby. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, bring it over. Feel the tummy move with the breath. One more. Exhale, bring that hand down. We're going to come into a counter stretch. Left hand's going to go behind you, fingers facing outwards. We're going to swoosh this right hand up and over, and the right foot's going to come into the floor as we do. So gently lifting the pelvis up, stretch through that chest, feels so good. Pushing pelvis to the sky, nice deep breath. And on the exhale, we'll gently come down. Good. Both legs out in front. Take a breathe. Good. Right foot comes into the thigh this time. Left foot stood to attention. We'll do exactly the same again. Roll those shoulders open. Feel like you've got a nice tall spine. We're going to bring our right hand onto baby this time. Inhale, left hand up. Exhale, bring it over. And if it feels good, we'll take our gaze gently up. This doesn't have to be a huge movement, okay? We're just working with the hip, working with the legs, finding that space. And we exhale, bring that hand down. Right hand goes behind you, fingers facing out. Ready to swoosh with the left hand. Bring the left foot into the ground. Push the pelvis up, opening through that chest. Nice deep breath. And we exhale. Bring that all the way back down. Good. So let's bring the soles of our feet together, knees falling out wide. We don't want to overstretch. We have our relaxing hormones, which are working into these hips, getting ready for us to give birth. They start in the first trimester, loosening everything up. So if it feels like you're kind of flopping down to the ground, you never used to be able to do that, grabbing some cushions, some blocks to support underneath those knees is a really good idea. We want the relaxing, we need the relaxing, but we also don't want to overstretch because we want to have really nice, easy recovery after birth as well. So anything we can do to stop that is always helpful. Feel like you're nice and tall for the spine. Again, if you feel like you're hunching over a little bit, feel free to grab something to sit on. Now I'm grabbing hold of my ankles for no particular reason. Your hands can be wherever they like. That just feels really comfortable for me. I'm going to close my eyes and just focus on my breath for a few moments, my hips opening. Allow the shoulders to soften on that exhale. And again, think about breathing down to the spine and pelvis again. And as we start to think about this, start to visualize. With each exhale, start to visualize that pelvis opening. Just like a flower. Tummy moving with each breath. Let me just take two more here. Visualizing that flower opening by petal by petal. And feeling that softening happening within us. You've done your two breaths. Bring those knees back in together. If you've used any blocks, just pop them to one side. We'll do a little bit of breath work from a comfortable sitting position. And from there, we're going to come and lie down onto our left side. If left side feels right for you, to allow us to come into a relaxation. So find somewhere that you feel comfortable sitting where you can get nice and tall for the spine. Bring your hands onto your baby, shoulders nice and low, spine's nice and tall. Just engage with that rhythmic flow of your breath without trying to change it initially. Feeling that breath move with your baby underneath your fingertips. Good. Now we're going to start to do a little bit of visualization with that breath work, coming to our golden thread. If any of you have done hypnobirthing or pregnancy yoga already, you'll be used to the visualization. We're doing quite a few different ways, but we're just going to keep it nice and simple for this practice today. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through gently parted lips. And I want you to visualize that exhale, the beautiful golden thread that you're blowing out through your lips. So we can visualize that golden thread coming in from the nose and out through those gently parted lips. Now with each breath, we try to make that thread longer and smoother. Breathing in this beautiful golden light and sharing it with the world. Each exhale helping us make it longer, smoother, deeper. Breathing it to the very corners of the room. And we imagine this beautiful golden thread coming from the nose, going down to our baby and showering our baby in a beautiful golden light. Now as we exhale, it's just releasing that beauty to the world. Each breath making it longer, smoother thread that reaches the very distant corner. When we're in early labor, we want to fill the entire room with this golden thread. Allowing this light, this beautiful golden beaming light to fill the very darkest of corners. We challenge ourselves with each breath to make that thread a little bit longer, a little bit smoother, to reach a little bit further. Two more breaths here. When you've done your 2 breaths, gently blink open those eyes. Come and find a nice, comfortable position. Use whatever you want. I want you to be as comfortable as possible here. So you might choose to have blocks or bricks or cushions and blankets or all of the above. What's particularly nice is putting something in between your knees, whether that's a cushion or a block. Having obviously a cushion or a block for your head, and to make sure you obviously feel nice and comfortable, I'd recommend getting a nice blanket, particularly depending on what the weather's doing, but making sure you feel nice and cozy. When you've found that position that's right for you, again, left side preferable, but until you're 30 weeks, then you can also have a go on your right side or just fine, prop yourself up with pillows, whatever feels right for you. And let your hand come to your baby if it feels good. Close the eyes. Focus on that breath. Focus on that movement of the breath beneath the hand. You might even have a bit of movement from baby under the hand. But let's actively straighten out that forehead. Check you have a little bit of gap in between your teeth. There's no tension in the jaw. Focus on that cool air coming in through the nose. And that slightly warmer air going out. And let's just come back to that golden thread breath for just a few more breaths to help us really ingrain that lovely long exhale. Breathing in through the nose and out through those gently parted lips. Breathing that golden thread into the room. Nice, long, smooth breaths. allowing that breath to lengthen and settle. Two more of those breaths here. And then start to bring that breath back in and out for the nose if that feels good for you today. And I want us to use that exhale to help us soften and release through the whole body. Focusing on that cool air coming in and that slightly warmer air going out. Using that exhale to help us soften for the toes, the feet, the ankles. Relaxing down for the legs and the knees. Softening for the hips. Allowing them to melt down into the ground. Visualizing that spine releasing vertebrae by vertebrae. Softening for the shoulders, allowing them to melt and sink with the exhale down into the ground. Allowing the arms to relax and release. Allowing the head to soften. Breathing out any noise or chatter. Just allowing you to be in this space, in this time with your baby. We want to breathe down this element of relaxation, of calm, and share it with our baby. So visualize that breath, almost like a light, a warm, soft light surrounding our baby, hugging our baby, bringing warmth and comfort to our baby. And use that exhale to help baby relax. Safe and secure in the womb. Your baby is the right size for your body. Your baby receiving this breath and this love and giving it back. Your baby that's getting everything it needs from you. Share this moment with your baby. You might choose to visualize the little things about your baby. How small little toes and feet are. Picturing these tiny hands and fingers are just waiting to grab hold of yours. If you have your hand on your baby, allow the warmth of your hand just to bring that little bit of extra comfort to your child. Happy, secure, and safe in your womb space. That channel of breath and love making its way perfectly to baby. And receiving so much of that love back. baby bathed in the warm, comforting light of your breath. Happy and healthy with each exhale. Finding that calm, finding that peace, finding that support together. When you're ready, you can have a little wiggle of those fingers and toes, bringing the attention back to that cool air coming in through the nose, or slightly warmer air going out. Maybe stretch one of your arms up, maybe both, just to get that movement back into the body. And in your very own time, just gently make your way up to sitting, making sure you put all the weight through the hands, arms, legs, rather than using that core, even though it is more than capable. We just don't want to put any extra stress on that tummy when it's doing such a wonderful job of growing your baby as it is. We're just going to close the practice with 3 breaths, but before we do, let's just stretch into that neck. So just gently having a little roll. Bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Take the left hand into the side of the head. Not pulling, not stretching, not straining, just allowing the weight of the hand to do the work for you. Gently coming back up. Right ear goes to the right shoulder, right hand on the side of the head. Just using the weight of the hand, nothing else. Gently releasing a few yes and no's. Inhale, arms widen up. And we close with namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for practice, and I wish you and your baby all the best, and I hopefully see you all soon. Namaste.